leftovers, and especially having a spaghetti bolognese last night. I've got leftovers today. I've been swimming with the children after school tonight, so it's quite a rush when we get home to get something done quickly. So this is what we had left over, a whole bowl full. It's quite full. I don't know if you can see. So there's that much left over from the chili last night. So I'm just going to pop that on the hob and start warming it, and then I'll add the rest of the ingredients. Won't be a tick. So I'm just going to pour that in the pan, making sure I get every last bit of it. And to the ultra frugal person in me, I'm just going to get a little bit of water just to get rid of every last bit of sauce in there. There we go. So just making sure that I'm not wasting any flavour. I'm just going to start gently heating this through. So as you can see, there's actually quite a lot here, and this, with the beans and things, I think it will do possibly all of us for tea tonight. So I'm just going to see how much we can get out of this. Okay, so the other ingredients I'm going to add, just to turn this into a chilli, is a tin of kidney beans. These are 30p currently. I'm going to add half a tin of tomatoes. I don't need a full tin, and then I'll put the other half in a pot in the fridge. And then a teaspoon of chili powder. And that's it. I get a completely different meal the next day. So we had spaghetti bolognese last night, we're having chili con carne tonight. I've got my rice here. This is that rice that's 45p for a kilo. And we will use, I think, I will double check the weight, but I think we're going to use about 200 grams. So again, it's minimal cost. So I'm just going to open these tins and get it all chucked in. I always give the tins of beans a good old shake, just because a lot of the time they get stuck at the bottom. Right, so let's pop those in. And then 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Obviously it depends on what you like, whether you like it mild or spicy, so you might want more or less, but we find about a teaspoon works fine. Give it a bit of a stir and then make sure it's reheated. So yeah, when you do this, please make sure you thoroughly reheat the meat. I'm actually going to leave this for about half an hour because I like to let all the flavours sort of get to know one another, we say in this house. But I don't know about you guys, but whenever I have leftovers the next day, I find it actually tastes better than it did the day before. I think all the flavours really do seem to sort of develop. So I always enjoy the leftovers meal far more than the original meal. So I'm going to pop my lid on and leave that gently cooking away for the next half an hour or so. I've got various plants and things dotted around the house, and I thought I'd give you a quick update as to how they're getting on. So I'm just going to spin. So just on here, I've got some beans. These are all from saved seed from previous years. This is these are some black beans. Now I don't know where they came from. They just popped up on my allotment last year in amongst all the runner beans, and these ones came out with a beautiful black bean. So I've saved those and grown those. And on this side are the Greek gigantes. And I'm going to sow another lot of them. I wasn't sure how well the seed was going to germinate, and it's done well. These have only taken a matter of days to come up, so I'm going to do another lot. Over here, over the washing up, I've got some cucumber seedlings that have come up, 2 different types, Marketmore, and there's a Japanese sort of small cucumber, I think. I did have some turnips in there that I pricked out, and I've got a few cauliflowers in there. This is some basil. This is basil that I have sown from seed. The basil that I divided in a previous video, as I suspected, it didn't really do very well. Only a few of them survived. So I probably would recommend growing it from seed over dividing the supermarket ones, but it's still worth giving it a go. And this is just by our back door. We've got all of the tomatoes to go out, and we've got some peppers, and up here we've got some chilies and things. So let's head outside. So we're just headed outside, and just on here, my daughter's sewn a few bits and pieces. However, she did soak it and it's not going to do anything. In here, I've got, now this was from one of the students at school, some clay wildflower seed bombs, and I thought I'd just put them in a pot to see what would happen. Interestingly, the ones on this side don't look too happy. I don't know what's happened there, but on this side they look fine. And this was just one lily of the valley that I managed to rescue. Here's some of the parsley, just here, here's one, doing really well. Here's a couple of others here. So the parsley did take, if you can just see, it's done really, really well. So definitely do the parsley. So just here I've got a salad bed. I've got it all under the cages because of the rabbits and the pigeons and the deer and goodness knows what. There's a tree here and it gets quite a lot of shade. So this is about the only thing I can really grow in here successfully. Now today is the first bit of rain we've had today in 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm so grateful. I don't know how much has penetrated the soil. Interestingly, some of these plants are looking a little bit yellowy. I'm not sure what's causing that. Whether it's been too cold, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that. There's some more of the parsley waiting to go out. So as you can see, I've planted some tomatoes in the greenhouse. Now all these ones that are a bit yellowy, these are the Gardener's Delight, and I really don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know if they just were lacking in nutrients in the compost and that's why they're yellowy. I've got another tomato here, this isn't Gardener's Delight, this is Pomodoro, and it's completely fine. This was planted ages ago in here, but I really don't know what's wrong with these, so I'll keep an eye on it. Here's some more of that basil. This isn't sown from seed, this was from the supermarket basil, and again it's a bit yellowy. I'm really sort of confused as to what's causing the yellowiness. Perhaps some of you guys can help me. Here's some of the other pieces that I've now planted out. And like I say, they don't look like they've done as well. They should be fine, but they're just not looking as healthy as these seed sown ones. Whereas the coriander is looking great. It's happened again. These are the mesembryanthums that I popped out during the day today, and if you can see something, I think something's been after the compost again. It's this peat-free compost, and I suspect that the blackbirds are after the compost. I'm so frustrated. Thankfully I've got quite a few, but I must be mindful not to put young seedlings out when they're in this compost. So that's a little bit annoying about those seedlings and some of the yellowiness. So if any of you guys have any ideas of what's going on there with the tomatoes and some of the salad leaves and things, I'd love to know. Maybe it is just because it's a bit early in the season, or is it something to do with the compost where I've dug it out from around the back there? Was there anything in there? I know the previous owners here were really keen on organic living, and I don't think they'd have used any weed killers or anything. So I don't think there's any danger of anything like that in the compost, but yeah, I'm slightly confused. So just before I dish up the dinner, I'm going to have a quick chat about how much tonight's meal has cost, and I'm just going to talk about how the 2 days worth of meals have cost. So tonight we had the leftover meal, and we had a tin of tomatoes, or we had half a tin of tomatoes, so that works out at 14 pence. The tin of kidney beans was 30 pence. The chili powder, I've calculated that at 10p. That is slightly more expensive than some of that. Probably is slightly over, but I just want to make sure that I get it more or less right. The rice, it works out at 11p, and we bought the kilo of rice for 45p, and we've had 200 grams, so it works out at about 11p. And so in total for that would come to 65p for the leftovers meal for 2 adults, and it's done enough to do 1 child as well. We're actually going to have a wrap with it tonight as well. We're just going to have half a wrap with it, and that works out at 11p. So overall tonight's meal, if you were going to have the wrap, would be 76p. So with the 2 evenings meals, last night's meal was £2.89, and tonight's meal is 76p, that's with the wrap. So that's a total of £3.65. So that's 2 evening meals, and that's actually given 4 adult portions and 4 children's portions for £3.65 over 2 evenings. So I think that's pretty good, considering there's meat in there as well. It's not like there isn't any meat. So yeah, I will just show you a shot of the meal now, and then I'm going to eat my dinner. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.